Aloha and good afternoon. Thank you for joining us here on This Is Now. First today, Helene has hit Florida as a major hurricane and dozens of storm-related deaths have been reported so far. NBC's Jay Gray reports from Tallahassee, Florida.
The assault from Helene continues. The storm, no longer a hurricane, but no less of a problem.
Helene is causing life-threatening flash flooding, numerous landslides, and downed trees, causing power outages. Flooding will continue through the weekend in some areas.
Those floodwaters swallowing entire communities across Georgia and the Carolinas now, spilling into homes, climbing up to the tops of cars.
This is so crazy, and I feel so bad for the people's cars that are underwater. I'm like, oh my gosh. I don't know what I would do.
Millions across an expanding strike zone, unsure about what to do or what comes next. The massive tropical system pushing inland and across the southeast, tearing apart homes, pulling down trees and power lines. After making landfall overnight along Florida's upper west coast as a Category 4 hurricane with sustained winds of over 140 miles an hour. First responders, rescue and recovery teams, along with 30,000 line crews, all rushing into the hardest hit areas from the Keys through the Panhandle as soon as conditions begin to ease.
The first 24 hours we focus on search and rescue. Over the next 48 hours, we will add what we call search, secure, and stabilize.
But for survivors, it will be a while before anything feels secure or stable again. Jay Gray, NBC News, Tallahassee.
Hawaii Island police need your help in identifying a group of suspects involved in an alleged theft in Waikoloa. Authorities say on July 1st, an unidentified suspect used stolen financial information to book lodging accommodations in the Waikoloa area for 7 days starting on July 23rd, with a scheduled checkout date of July 29th. Police say multiple people accessed the dwelling and were captured on the property's video surveillance systems. Anyone with information about this investigation is asked to call 935-3311. HPD has opened an attempted murder investigation in Kalihi. Here's what we've learned. It happened around 5:30 p.m. yesterday. Police say a 42-year-old man intentionally drove his vehicle into two other men. We're told one of the two suffered minor injuries. The suspect fled the scene and has not been arrested at last check. We'll continue to monitor this story and bring you any updates online. A Puna man has been sentenced for abusing a minor at the Hawaii Youth Challenge Academy on Hawaii Island. Paul Banasihan Jr. was employed there during the assault in 2018. The 44-year-old was found guilty last year on 9 counts of sex assault and attempted sex assault. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison for the crimes. Banasihan was also sentenced to 5 years in prison for promoting drugs in an unrelated case. Now to an update on a story out of Oahu. Police have identified the woman wanted in an animal cruelty case, but they have not yet publicly released her name. Investigators issued a criminal summons and gave a court date to the 49-year-old who was caught on camera repeatedly hitting a dog in Waipahu last week. They also took the dog into protective custody. A federal mediator joined the contract talks between the Hawaii Nurses Association and Kapi'olani Medical Center. The hospital has locked out striking nurses since they held a one-day strike 2 weeks ago. This comes after the governor urged them to bring in a neutral third party to join them at the bargaining table. And over in the hotel industry, workers from several of Waikiki's largest properties joined the picket lines with their striking counterparts. Yesterday, employees from the Royal Hawaiian and Sheraton and Waikiki hotels showed their support for about 2,000 workers from the Hilton Hawaiian Village who began striking on Tuesday. We're told there have been no contract talks since the walkout began.
I feel frustrated and sad and mad since the company is not reaching out. We've been here for 3 days now, and I feel like we're not being respected from the company.
All of the workers picketing last night were among 5,000 from 7 major hotels who staged a 3-day strike over the Labor Day weekend. The union, Local 5, says more strikes are also possible at those hotels if the issues remain unsolved. Hours after Israel's prime minister told the UN General Assembly that his country will no longer tolerate the daily rocket fire from Hezbollah, Israel said it carried out an airstrike against the Iran-backed group's headquarters in Lebanon. Michael George reports from New York.
A series of explosions rocked Beirut Friday, the biggest to hit the Lebanese capital this year. The Israeli military said it carried out a targeted airstrike against Hezbollah's central headquarters. Pentagon officials say Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin got a heads up from his Israeli counterpart while the operation was already underway.
The United States was not involved in this operation, and we had no advanced warning.
Pentagon officials would not say whether Lebanon's Hezbollah leader, Hassan Nasrallah, was the target of the strike. This is the latest escalation between Israel and the Iran-backed group, which health officials in Lebanon say has killed more than 700 people, including at least 50 children in recent days.
We'll continue degrading Hezbollah until all our objectives are met.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who was booed when he spoke at the United Nations General Assembly Friday, cut his trip short to return home following the latest developments. The United States and France have proposed an immediate 21-day ceasefire with Hezbollah, but Netanyahu is remaining defiant.
As long as Hezbollah chooses the path of war, Israel has no choice, and Israel has every right to remove this threat and return our citizens to their homes safely.
And as both sides seem to edge closer to an all-out regional war, Israeli tanks gathered at the country's north border, raising the possibility of a ground invasion. Michael George, CBS News, the United Nations.
A home on Oahu's North Shore on Kinue Road is getting demolished just a few days after it collapsed into the ocean near Sunset Beach. The city tells us the landowner obtained an emergency permit from the Department of Planning and Permitting to allow the demolition to begin. And in Windward Oahu, a Punalu'u couple is also facing a losing battle against erosion and mounting potential state fines. When king tides hit last month, their front lawn was wiped out and an abandoned cesspool was exposed. Lori and Kirk Thompson say the trouble started when the state land department told them to move an unpermitted sand burrito from their property that was left by previous owners, and they complied.
It was gone. All the land just washed away, and we were panicking. Yeah, because nobody told us that that's what would happen.
These are good, local, hardworking people, and this is their nest egg, and it's disappearing, and nobody is doing anything to help them.
Last month, the state land chair sent a notice of alleged violation that said in part, quote, "We recommend that you remove the erosion control structures, unauthorized materials, and encroachments located within the shoreline within 21 days. The Thompsons say they're facing daily fines of $45,000. And now to sad news from the entertainment world, as a little bit more magic is now gone with the passing of beloved British actress and cultural icon Maggie Smith. She was 89 years old. Remy Incencio has more on her passing from London.
A superstar of both screen and stage, Maggie Smith was widely considered one of Britain's finest actors.
Your last chance at life. Take me or leave me.
In a career spanning more than 6 decades, she flipped the switch on the narrative of a woman aging out, finding worldwide popularity in later years.
Lord Grantham wanted to protect the estate. It never occurred to him that you wouldn't have a son.
Well, I didn't.
No. You did not.
She had already racked up Oscars, Golden Globes, and a Tony when a British TV series came calling.
Do you think?
With her role as the sharp-tongued Dowager Countess in Downton Abbey, Smith became a megastar.
I've come into possession of a villa in the south of France.
What? You never thought to turn it down?
Do I look as if I'd turn down a villa in the south of France?
She picked up the youngest of fans as Professor McGonagall in the Harry Potter movies.
That was bloody brilliant.
Oh, thank you for that assessment, Mr. Weasley. Perhaps it would be more useful if I were to transfigure Mr. Potter and yourself into a pocket watch.
And she confessed to a skill at playing spiky elderly ladies.
There's always this endless thing about there aren't any parts for women over a certain age.
Well, I've kind of reached the limit now.
With multiple generations of fans, Smith's death brought an outpouring of love. Sister Act co-star Whoopi Goldberg called her one of a kind. Smith was a mother of 2 and grandmother of 5. The family says they are devastated by their loss, and in that, they have plenty of company. Ramy Inocencio, CBS News, London.
Back here at home, 4 more suspended bus routes will soon be back on the road. They serve Moanalua Middle on Oahu and Pahoa Elementary, Intermediate, and High Schools on Hawaii Island. The school year started with over 100 routes not returning due to a driver shortage. 38 still remain suspended. Dozens of high schoolers and volunteers removed over 30 abandoned cars from a parcel of Hawaiian homelands in Aloha yesterday. This is part of a community effort to reduce the wildfire risks in the area. The initiative, dubbed Heavy Impact, led by local nonprofit and event organizer Aina Alliance, provided students with the opportunity to engage with heavy machinery and gain insight from skilled operators while participating in the removal of junked cars.
It's really about, yes, bringing our community together, not looking for someone else to do it. Take responsibility and understand where you need to go for your future moving forward for your children as well.
Learning the equipment, learning the safety, learning the machine, learning how to maintain it, learning the people where I can buy equipment from, and learning how we can help people, help out the land, help out the community.
The workday marks the 1-year anniversary of a wildfire that threatened nearby neighbors when fast-moving flames prompted precautionary evacuations. Investigators classified the 12-acre blaze as arson. 68 abandoned vehicles were scorched that day. Officials said more than 300 abandoned vehicles are scattered throughout the land parcel, and more than 100 fires have been reported in recent years. We are 1 day away from the annual Aloha Festival's floral parade that goes from Ala Moana Beach Park all the way to the Kapi'olani Bandstand. Our Casey Lund has more on preparations.
Aloha, we are at Pier 23. This is where some of those floats are being put together. Again, hundreds of volunteers working to the last minute, putting all those together, putting the floral arrangements on all these floats. And we are very grateful to be with 2 special, lovely ladies. I'm with Kumuhulu Pikake with me and Kumuhulu Kaimi up there working hard away. Good morning and aloha to you from Halau na Puakea o Ko'olau Poko. All right, not too bad. They didn't even need the sign, but it's right there. Kumuhula, tell me a little bit about your guys' halau. Started almost 51 years ago, right?
Yes, we just made 50 years. So we are located in beautiful Kailua. Our beautiful Kumuhula is Kari Kealoha Lani Wright, who unikit from Auntie Lani Kalama, who then is from the legendary Lokalia Montgomery. And on the Owana side, we learned from the marvelous Auntie Bella Richards.
A lot of pride, a lot of aloha, I imagine, and ohana, and so much joy, I'm sure, to share with people during the 76th Aloha Festival's parade. And this year, A'a'ika Hula, hula themed. I know, I'm doing pretty good right here. And I wanted to actually, Ka'ima, excuse me, is up taking a look at all of this. Walk us through the theme and the idea behind your guys' float. This is a lot of work.
Yes. Well, first of all, I would like to mahalo to Auntie Tony, who guided us this path since last year. And once we learned about A'aika Hula, we thought about the concept, and we wanted to honor our Kumuhula. And also King David Kalakaua. And so over there, we have King Kalakaua's portrait and then kahili to honor him. And for our song, we chose 5 different songs, and that's honoring Kalakaua as well as the songs that he also composed. And on this beautiful, the big float, yes, we will have keiki, which is our pua in our halau. They will be sitting, waving with the little coconut frond props. And we have hula implements cut out with the lauhala roses,
beautiful,
that are made by our hula ohana.
If you had to put an estimate on hours on this float so far.
Oh,
countless.
Countless. Until midnight for weeks. Yes.
But a labor of love, I'm sure.
Yes. And then this is our moment of bonding as an halau with community. And then that is a wonderful experience through this process of the
Well,
parade.
ladies, thank you so much for being with us today. And I can't wait to see the finished product. It already looks beautiful. Thanks for giving us a sneak peek. Again, the parade at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. An exciting time. The street's going to close down, by the way, at 8 a.m. going from Aloha Beach Park down Kalakaua to Kapiolani Park. A beautiful, beautiful 76th annual floral parade for Aloha Festival. So we'll send things back into the studio for now.
How's it on this Aloha Friday? The weather, our weather, will be very, very nice. Cyclone-free, hurricane-free. We're looking really good in the Central Pacific. Granted, with the trade winds running for the next several days, we'll see these kinds of showers, mainly in the overnight and early morning hours. They'll favor windward sides. Leeward sides will remain mostly dry. And these winds will begin picking up speed. We're going to have some breezy conditions today and tomorrow, but by Sunday, they'll kind of lighten up. So enjoy your Friday. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. By all means, get outside and enjoy the best weather on the planet. This is going to be absolutely lovely. And again, it's going to continue through the weekend with slower winds coming in on Sunday. Now, as far as the surf, kind of slow today. 2 to 4 up in the country. That swell will be dropping. Still got box jellyfish on the South Shore. South Shore is expecting a moderate swell on Monday, so heads up for that. So the 7-day forecast looking absolutely beautiful with lots of sunshine for the duration of the forecast. We might see a minor boost in showers maybe on Monday, but still, we're not talking about a lot of rain. We've got maximum sunshine, high temperatures remaining parked about 88 degrees. The only change that you might notice is when the winds slow down on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. That's when it's going to be a little stickier.
Hey, happy Aloha Friday, everyone. Davis, Kyle, Digital Center. You know what time it is. Sports update. Kyle, we got to talk about UH really fast. Big win against Northern Iowa, 36-7. Great game for Braden Shager. More than 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He is ranked 18th in the country for passing yards. Overall, great game for the Bows.
It was really a good showing of what this run and shoot offense can do and what they're capable of. And another shout out to the defense. Only allowed 1 score, shut them out the other 3 quarters, and it was a score going right into halftime. And I was concerned about that, you know, momentum a little bit on Northern Iowa's side going into the break, but out of the break, shut them out. And it was a great game. It was a good atmosphere.
And talking about the Mountain West Conference, we got to get right into it. Big news this week. If you haven't heard, Utah State now joins the Pac-12. This is part of the big movement of Mountain West schools leaving the Mountain West and heading over to the Pac-12. Something big happened this week, though.
Yeah.
Some of the schools, including UH, have committed themselves to the upcoming seasons.
So, Davis, I've been tracking this story. Give me my tight shot.
Here we go. He's ready.
All this information.
He's got the information.
This has been the main headline. Like, I didn't want to take. We don't want to take away from UH's win against Northern Iowa, but this has cluttered my timeline. It's just been all over the place, Davis. You can't escape it. Little refresher. So it was announced that the Pac-12 was taking 4 teams originally from the Mountain West Conference, and then Utah State became the 5th, which left the Mountain West down a couple teams, and there was a lot of concern. Obviously, with UH, we don't got left behind like the whole WAC situation back in the day, and all these things like go independent, go Pac-12, Conference USA, all these things are going on. But yesterday, in the 11th hour, it seems, the remaining Mountain West schools signed in writing their commitment and their loyalty to the Mountain West through 2032. And it essentially keeps this conference together while also, stops the Pac-12 from taking any more teams potentially. And the teams that are remaining are UNLV, Air Force, Nevada, New Mexico, San Jose State, and Hawaii, which is a football-only affiliate, but that keeps them at a solid number. They still need a couple more teams, same with the Pac-12, so they're kind of at a stalemate here, but they reaffirmed their commitment to the league through 2032.
Well, yeah, it is craziness, and once again, both the Mountain West and also the Pac-12 need just one more school to be known as a conference in the FBS.
Yep.
We're going to have to wait and see on how that goes. And you know what's also crazy, Kyle?
What?
Our podcast, HNN Overtime.
I'm sure we'll talk about this,
and it's
too,
even
yeah.
crazier if you don't listen to it. So make sure to listen to it. You can find it anywhere where you get your podcasts and also on YouTube. So make sure to check it out with Kyle, Sienna, and I. All right, Kyle, for you and I.
Yep. Happy
Aloha
Friday.
In today's news from the feeds, a fire chief in Maine is calling some people in his town idiots. He says he's referring to people who waste his department's time, and now there's a proposal to bill residents for such circumstances. Brad Rogers has more on this controversial idea.
The town of Livermore Falls already has a policy on billing for fire services. Fire Chief Nathan Guptill wants to add what he calls an idiot clause to that policy.
If you're drinking and driving, I think you're an idiot. There's always ways around it. There's Uber, there's taxis, there's friends. There's no reason to be behind the wheel drinking and driving or under the influence of anything. So if you do that stuff, I consider you an idiot. Then we should be able to bill their insurance company while we were sitting there tying up our resources.
If the town gives the okay, distracted drivers who cause an accident could also have to pay, as well as people with numerous false alarms who don't fix their alarm systems.
And if they don't fix it and we keep getting repeatedly calls there, that's what I'd call a nuisance call.
Do you have a ballpark figure on what these nuisance calls are costing the department?
Oh, depends. We have an alarm that goes off in town quite regularly. I'm going to say you're anywhere from $200 to $500 every time we go to this call.
If the town approves this, it will be up to an officer's judgment if something gets billed. Townspeople have mixed feelings about this.
That's just stupid. They shouldn't be doing that at all. They respond to calls like that because it's their job, and if it ends up being a nuisance call, it should be the town that pays for it, regardless.
I don't see why they should get paid for a nuisance call. Whether they go out on a call or don't go out on a call, they're still getting paid. It's our taxes that fund them.
If they need that to support the fire department, I say, yeah, those fellas are doing a lot. They're sacrificing like crazy,
And in today's good news now, it wasn't an SOS, but 3 women still hoped someone would get their message in a bottle. 8 years later, it finally reached a shoreline. Zach Fuentes has more.
Sunnyvale, California.
Amazement from a group of hikers from Townsville, Australia Friday, moments after opening up a message in a bottle.
It's like every childhood sort of fantasy fairy tale sort of thing. You send a message away and someone actually reads it.
The Townsville Hike and Explore group found the bottle while on a beach cleanup.
So here's the note that Jeff found in the bottle.
We opened it up. It was a little bit difficult to open, and it was a note
and I read it out to the group. Dear reader, we wrote this note because we heard so many stories about doing this.
The note went on to say that the writers were leaving their resort in Fiji at 5 o'clock and to please write back to their Sunnyvale address. It was signed in July of 2016 by Savannah, Kate, and Janice, but there was no last name. The group, hoping to connect with the three ladies, discovered that they no longer lived at that Sunnyvale address. But the discovery of the bottle made local headlines in Australia, eventually getting the attention of the messengers behind that message in a bottle.
We've since spoken to Janice earlier today via radio locally here in Townsville, so it's been quite exciting actually finding the owners of the letter.
And as it turned out, the authors never forgot about the message they'd sent.
So they were all there on holiday in August, and then they all thought to themselves, I wonder what happened to that bottle that we sent off.
Now the Townsville Hike and Explore group have made plans to reunite Savannah, Kate, and Janice with the note they sent those 8 years ago.
And we're going to include a couple of the newspaper clippings that we've had from our local newspaper and a few photos as well of our group.
And though the group will part with the note itself, the memory of it will stay with them forever.
Yeah, so super excited that it's come this far, all the way from Fiji. And now to have made contacts, just been, really epic.
What a cool find indeed. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of This Is Now. We hope you have a wonderful weekend.